Good day. In behalf of Group 2, I will present and discuss the desktop application platform of electric billing systems operational transaction. As I start with, this is the login form for which the user must provide the necessary information provided by the system. The information like the username, the password, and the server IP address. As a built-in user, the admin, together with the corresponding password, and the server IP address. The server IP address serves as the location of the database for which the username and password will be checked on to log in this account. When I click the login button, the application will route the user to the main menu, which includes the register new consumer, the payment of bills, delay payments, update info, monthly bill reading, and the add or delete user for the system purposes only. The register new consumer button, when I click this one, the application will route it to the registration form, for which a new consumer must be registered on this page. Here, I will put a consumer name, just like when I put a consumer name, the application will provide an automatic meter number for each consumer to be logged in or to be registered. Next is the address of the consumer, which is like then next is the date posted, wherein this info simplifies the registration of the consumer to the system, not on the actual registration. And then next is the connection type of the consumer name. And then in this connection type area, this includes as like residential or other connection type. In residential connection type, the user had a choice of, or the consumer had a choice of a single account or a joint account. On the other connection type, there have a business, an organization or group. In this area, I will select a residential, which is commonly used by the system, and I will select on a single account. And then the next area will be the consumer web services. In this area or information, this will be the account of the consumer that will be used in the web application platform. If this consumer had an existing account, the user must select the yes option. If the user select the yes option, the user must provide the existing username and password of the said consumer. And if not, the user must select the no button and then put the necessary username and password to be input, like the consumer name. and then the corresponding password. As we notice that when I enter a username, a unique username, there have an image that will be checked, and this means that this username is not uh, be or couldn't be seen on the existing account on this um, given consumer. And when all the necessary information are provided, the user can select on the save button for saving the given information. When the user click this button, the application will prompt a message or will ask a contact person for this consumer. Uh, this uh, this area means that when a consumer name be registered on the system, the consumer must have a contact person if in case for emergency purposes to be implemented. Like its contact person is uh, like, like this name, and then the contact number, it's either be a mobile number or a telephone number. It's like this. Like this. If the user had already filled up the necessary condition of the uh, form, the user can click the OK for the confirmation and could be saved. And a message will prompt a save and we'll click an OK. And let's check if the newly registered consumer is to is already have or is already saved on the database. Um, we say, can we search as a meter number, the consumer name, or an address of the consumer consumer, like uh, like this. As you can see, as I've entered the newly registered consumer, the necessary information that I uh, entered to the system will be displayed or uh, display the necessary information that I entered on the system. And then here, the following information like the meter number, the consumer name, the address, the date posted, together with the other type of information that will be necessary to enter or could be displayed. Here, uh, as you can see, in the connection status of the newly registered consumer could be disconnected. So that means that this newly registered consumer is not totally be activate or need to be activated in order to uh, 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 have a or have an unstable account to the system or have a stable transaction to the system. So in order to change the connection status of the newly registered consumer, the user must go back to the main menu and select the update info of the newly registered consumer. So here, we can search on the newly registered consumer, either its meter number, the consumer name, or an address. So we can search on like the consumer name. So here, when I select the consumer data, so when I select this one, all necessary information provided on this area will be filled up on the registration update message or text box. And then, to be able to change the connection status, of the consumer, of the newly registered consumer, the user must select or click the edit button in order to edit the consumer information. So here, I can select on or change the connection status of the said consumer name as to be connected. And then when the user satisfies or satisfy the necessary information to be changed, or if there is no changes at all with the consumer information, the user can select or can click the update button for or in or the update button in order to update the uh, changes of information of the customer information. Then when I selected the update button, the application will prompt a message as successfully updated. Then I click OK, and then as you can see on the uh, display area, the necessary information of the consumer, like the connection status, is already be changed. Then, when the user satisfies the information, the user can go back to the main menu and choose another transaction to be performed with. The next, like the monthly reading. So, in this area, can provide the or search on the uh, an existing consumer name to have a monthly bill on it, or the manipulation of bills per consumer. So I will uh, enter a consumer name or a consumer information for selection purposes, like the newly registered consumer. When I select this one, the corresponding meter number and the connection type of the said consumer will appear on this area, and then the user can manipulate the days of consumption of this corresponding consumer. Then since like I mean days of consumption like started this, and then from this range from this date up to this period. So uh, the user must provide the previous the previous and the present reading of or the present minus the previous reading of the consumer consumption. In this area, since the consumer name I've selected is a newly registered consumer, the previous kilowatt hour of this consumer is 0 since uh, she is a newly registered consumer. So, for example, the present kilowatt hour consumed in this consumer is 7, and then the application will provide a total kilowatt hour depending on the connection type of this consumer, like the total uh, like the per kilowatt hour this connection type of consumer is 7.35 per kilowatt hour. The total charge will appear of this consumer, and this uh, result a total charge like 51.45 pesos. And then when all the information are provided given by the uh, necessary information, the user can click the OK button in order to display the monthly billing of the newly registered consumer, and then will prompt as successfully saved, and click OK. And then in the display area of monthly billing, as you can see, there is the monthly billing together with a corresponding days of consumption and the billing number and the monthly bill of the said consumer to be paid off. And then when this uh, billing balance of this newly registered consumer wants to pay his bill or her bill, the user must go back to the main menu and select the payment of bills. In payment of bills, it will show the consumer details and the payment area. And then, together with the consumer information involved and the balance monthly billing for each consumer to be searched on. In this area, we can search on the consumer information like the consumer meter number, the consumer name, or the address. So when the newly registered consumer attempt to pay his bill or her bill, I will search on her name and it will appear on this area or display the consumer information together uh, with the necessary information to be selected on and filled up on the balance monthly billing. Like this area, when I selected this one, the balance monthly billing or the corresponding balance monthly billing of this consumer will appear on this area. And when I select this one, the overall monthly charge of the newly registered consumer will be entered or will be uh, filled up on the monthly charge text area. And then when the consumer had to pay this one, just like his or her payment is 90 pesos, so the application will generate the change of payment and with its corresponding balance itself. And then when it's okay to be seen, the user can click the OK, and the billing account of the newly registered consumer will be updated. And then when the user monthly billing of the consumer, it will appear an empty balance monthly billing since it is pay on this procedure or take this action to be paid off. Then after which the user can go back to the main menu, and when the user wants to see the all necessary or the all delay payments for each consumer, the user must select the delay payments option or delay payments button. In the delay payments button, here we can see as the search area for which there is a consumer information provided by the system. And then when the user can search on a target consumer to be select on, if they have it a multiple billing account that does not paid any in any single of time, the user can view on the necessary information to be displayed and to be checked. So here the system or the application will provide the candidates for disconnection area, which considered the meter number of the consumer together with the consumer name. And then when I select the this area, when I select the meter number corresponding the consumer name, the corresponding consumer information will be displayed on the consumer information page or area and on the monthly billing area. And the monthly billing area, it displays on the multiple balances which uh, which will not be paid or will no longer or which uh, which not paid by the consumer in a certain period of time, which involves in this one from the range of date date consumption up to this date, and with the total charge for each meter number and billing number for itself, and will display all the necessary information that will be as the evidence for disconnection. Then um, this area serves as for viewing the candidates or viewing of the consumers that will be the candidates for disconnection. Then when the user satisfies in viewing all the necessary information for disconnection area, the system or the user can close the form and back to the main menu. So, and the last button, which is the add or delete user, it will prompt us for adding or deleting user. So here, I will attempt to add a user, just like together with a password. And then this user privileges, this will be the uh, allowable access of this corresponding user to be manipulated with. Just like if the user will click on the grant all permissions, all the necessary or all the corresponding all the corresponding information following on these permissions will be selected. And if the user will uncheck the checkbox, the user must select on what privileges must be uh, allowed by this user. It's like allow update and allow registration or allow payments. So after which the user can or provide the username, the password, and the user privileges. The admin user will can add the user that the admin enter, and will prompt a message that the new user was added, and then we'll check if the user uh, will uh, will be if the user will really be added on the database for adding a user. So here, as we can see, is a tune user together with the corresponding privilege involved and could be accessed only with the selected privilege. And then after which you can close the form and chooses to log out for checking the newly add user if it works. So attempt to log out. Yes. So here I will attempt to check if the newly add user tune does exist. So I will enter the tune username, then with its corresponding password, and then the server IP address on which this account will be checked if it is accessible to log in. So I will attempt to log in, and it will route to the main menu, and then here it is. So as I've selected on the user privileges, the corresponding privilege involved was the register a new consumer. So the user Chun can register a new consumer, and then for update info, so the user Chun can update the um, the existed consumer to be updated with the corresponding information that will be changed, and update the corresponding consumer information, and then the payment of bills should be generated by the Chun user. So it is uh, so the Chun user uh, works significantly with this limited privileges. So I will attempt to log out, and we'll go back to the built-in user, which is the admin user, corresponding password, and then the IP address. Maybe check. Then attempting to log in. Um, the reason why I go back to the admin user is I want to delete the Chun user from this add or delete user button. If the delete button um, does it work, then I will route back to the add or delete user form, and here I can see the Chun user. I will select this one, and will be filled up with the corresponding text boxes provided, and then I will attempt to delete this one and click on the delete button. So when I select a no, which is the application prompting to delete this user, if I select the no button, so the application will route us back to the add or delete user form. And when I attempt to uh, click the yes button to delete this one, so the application will prompt a message that the user Chun has been deleted, and it will be checked if I select the OK, and then can be seen that the user Chun has been deleted from the database. So we'll check this one, then here it is that the user Chun had never been seen in this area, and only the admin user could be entering the database, and it will be alone in this one. And I will attempt to close the form and back to the main menu. So these are all the overall transaction provided by the system and its corresponding function. So it end up with a presentation, and we'll say thank you and have a good day at once.